that.
Yeah, X-rays is an extremely controversial subject, because you can throw the same argument at one or two other major stud books and go, well, hang on a second, you know, what's that about? I'm not going to get into that because I'm being videoed. It has its place. It's within the WPFSH, so it abides by their rules. Yeah. So as far as I'm concerned, you know what, that's fine. And I will actually, I'm a sneaky suspicion Derek's going to laugh in there. Actually, 3 of my stallions have now been approved in the last 18 months for the AES. Because at the time, they weren't ready. Baker the Talmer, my little Kentucky kid, he wasn't ready to approve. He didn't approve as a 3-year-old. He wasn't actually put forward by the owners, by the Talmer. And so actually we waited. The AES came down actually to approve Cancherado and Avalon, and they asked to see Baker. Well, we weren't asking you to approve him. Well, actually we want to approve him because we look at the bloodline, the mother line, we look at who the father is, and we want to approve him. Well, okay, that's very nice. We weren't going to breed with him during his 4th year, and we didn't breed with him during his 4th year. We waited for the approvals to come around, because the Self-Francais actually did the right. They did the right thing. They understand that you're not all fantastic at 3 years old. So actually, they let you approve during your performances, during your 4th year and your 5th year. You must also provide proper Cyril scored. That's a scoring system in France from the University of Caen, Dr. Dunois, who invented Tildren. He gives the Cyril scores. The vet has to come, it has to be on those, the vectors are taken on and put on those the files which cannot be altered under any circumstances, and they go for a Cyril score. And I think that's actually probably the more progressive way, an intelligent way of approving a stallion. Certainly it fit for Baykal. We bought Sea Pearl last year as a 3-year-old, the night that Michael bought Valmy, and he was already approved Z. But I would prefer he was approved Self-Francais, in my personal opinion. It has a bit more credibility. And so hopefully this year he'll go around, and we've already had the genetic score for him, 8 out of 10, which is very good. And he'll go through the 4-year-olds this year, and hopefully because of his style, aptitude, gallop, etc., he will approve. The Self-Francais will watch him during the season. They'll give scores in various classes for model, type, aptitude, etc. And we'll get the letter in the 2nd week of September saying yes, the Self-Francais have approved him. That for me is a much more intelligent way of approving stallions. It's not to say that the other way with the Holsteins. I mean, half of my stallions are Holsteiners. Doesn't mean I don't approve what they do. One of the benefits of going through that system, the Hanoverians, the Oldenburgers, the Holsteiners, is that your 4-year-old, as he comes around the following year, breeds 400 mares. That's a nice way to start your career. That means that by the time you're 13 years old, you've got a whole stack of 7-year-olds on the ground, ready to go to Laniken. They've gone through the Bundeschampionat and what have you. Now you've got yourself a nice reputation. It means you have a double life cycle. It's a commercially very, very good thing to do. Same with the KWP. I mean, there's no country more commercial than the Dutch. Holland had the first stock exchange. They know business, and the KWPN has created its brand. The management speak there, but created its brand very, very well. I mean, they have given themselves or afforded themselves a lot of credibility, But back to the original question. What was the original question?
Something about 100-day testing. Why didn't AES do that?
Because that's not their ethos. That's not their way of doing things. They have said that there are stallions that didn't approve when they were 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, 7 years old. When did Arco approve?
When did Hicks do?
No, Arco was done as a 4.
Was he?
Yeah.
But it wasn't as a 3-year-old, was it?
It wasn't as a 3-year-old.
No,
actually, he wasn't approved until Helsley bought him, and he was 6 when they bought him.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's what I remember. As a classic example, a classic example. We can. I see on these forums from time to time. Oh well, of course, I can give you 5,000 because stallions didn't approve as 3 years old. It doesn't mean that all the ones didn't approve are good. It doesn't mean that all the ones that did approve are going to be fantastic. They have to take make the decision at that point during that period of time, be it 2 days or 100 days or whatever.
But commercially over here, you couldn't do it because when the KWPN start out, they start them as 2-year-olds, and there's well, you know the numbers better than me, there's hundreds and hundreds of 2-year-olds that go,
800.
and they have to
Yeah.
go through 2 or 3 selections before
Yeah.
they get to the final one.
Yeah.
There just ain't those numbers over here.
No.
So over there, it's a big commercial thing to have
Yeah.
that testing.
Because also they're looking to help the owner of that stallion get breeding.
And as
so
soon
that-
as that stallion goes through the final testing and is approved, it's guaranteed
Guaranteed.
to have 200-300 mares.
Exactly that. Yeah. No, that's
That's another
precisely it.
reason why it won't happen over here.
Yeah. That's well. I'll give you an example.
And it's funded by the government. Well, it used to be funded by the
Yeah, it's
government.
not anymore. No, they're all purely private now. But I'll give you the example. Charles Appin had a stallion with SHB. I think he won it, whatever that means. I don't think he did 10 mares the following year. For a really nice horse, I don't think he did. I don't think he did 10 mares. No, why? No one was at the grading. No one was there to watch. None of the stud books are saying you should be there and watching. I've always argued with the BEF. A central grading should be being held during the weekend of the stallion show so that the champion is actually presented. And we'd all go, right, that's bloody fantastic, let's go and use it. You know, it's, but these are things, unfortunately. And when I first came into the industry, the lady who used to own world-class stallions, which a couple of years later went bust, she said to me, Ken, you'll never change anything in British breeding. And those words still ring true. I mean, if I'm buying better stallions and people have used them, I've improved breeding a little bit, a few degrees by them using better stallions, well, then fantastic. But in the end, honestly, that's why, 2.5, nearly 3 years ago, one of the reasons I left the UK and went to France, other than the fact that we were having a baby and my girlfriend's French and so on and so forth, it was one of the reasons why I found it easier to leave. That wasn't the reason I left England, it's why I found it easier to leave, because I needed to go to Europe to gain greater credibility. And interestingly, in the 2 breeding seasons since I left, we bred as many as we did when we were here. Don't quite know what that's about, but it's a reality. So the AES has its place. It does have its place. I would be less happy with stud books that are outside of the confines of the WBFSH. That's for very, very sure. And I think my words on the internet have been well spoken about with regard to that. But yeah, the AES has its place. It wouldn't be my ultimate dream of having my stallion approved AES. But yeah, they serve a purpose, but they won't go down the same route as the others because that's not what they're about.
No.
They're happy to take the stallion that is now, in the case of Canturado, never bred in his life, by Canturo, a top 40 stallion, out of the full sister of the Accarado brothers, winning at meter 55 in the 4 and 5 stars. And how can we not approve that? One is never approved. The owners didn't give a toss about breeding. Not interested. Not interested at all. Avalon, classic example. Who was the breeder? Norbert Bolle. Who's that? The breeding director of the Holsteiners. The horse is is the brother of Chilano out of the full sister of Corrado. The breeding is stunning. Why didn't it go? Because at 3 it wasn't ready, and that's how the Holsteiners do it. Even though he's the breeding director, and of course it puts him in a politically very difficult position, go, well actually, can we just shove that one in there? Let's go and lose a whole load of credibility doing that, shall we? So he just never did it. Can't say that Norbert Bolle isn't interested in breeding, of course it's his job, but he wasn't interested in breeding from that stallion. He said no, he wasn't ready at 3. We'll send him through the sport instead. He just had to keep his balls off. Thank the Lord.
One of the worst things that's happened over here, Bob, was BS got involved in breeding. They said that the only stallions that can compete are the ones that are graded. So then everybody jumped on the bandwagon. Let's get them all graded. Let's just go stamp them, take your money, stamp them, take your money.
1,000 quid, 1,000 quid, 1,000 quid, 1,000 quid, 1,000 quid. Nice for the stud book that was involved in that at the time. But after that, it didn't help.
I've got a 6-year-old Casal Corrado stallion, and that we bought 12 months ago, 18 months ago, whatever. And he is, I genuinely, he is the real deal. He is got everything. But the breeder in Germany, he wasn't interested in breeding.
No.
Yeah, he arrives over with mine, a 5-year-old, 4-5-year-old sort of thing, and it's too late to send it back to Holstein to get it graded. So it's got to be graded for somebody. So we're getting graded.
Absolutely, no, and that's things to do. And those genetics that, and if it's the horse that you say it is, and you know what you're talking about, then it's absolutely the horse that should be bred with.
Absolutely. I mean,
Get him graded correctly, and away you go. So I said, Cannon wasn't approved by the KWPN when he was 3 years old.
Neither was Hickstow.
There you are. And he had to go to the SBS to get approved. You know, I mean, obviously we went back to them a few years later when he was well done too. They said yes. But he still has to go through X-rays and everything. At 19 years old, they're still insisting the X-ray.
Yeah, they did the same, but it's a business. 26 years old and wanted an X-ray.
Yeah, exactly that. Yeah. What are you expecting to find there? You know, it's madness. Sorry, just I know I've said it before, but
But even
the
if it's
AES.
a couple of days, that's what I'm thinking then, instead of just one day for half an hour or whatever.
I would always prefer that horses are looked at a little bit more.
Yeah,
we
exactly.
did look at things like temperament and
Yeah.
character and so on and so
Can't tell that
forth.
in half an hour, not even that.
Not so much. But as I said, they have their place, and they haven't got it so wrong actually. They haven't got it so wrong, really. And that's why. I mean, okay, it took time, but they haven't got it so wrong. But they have their
Just
place.
done a 100-day test doesn't mean to say it's going to give you the best
No,
foal in the world.
exactly.
That's exactly it. Yeah.
And at the end of the day, you don't have to use a stallion, do you?
No, exactly that.
You can go and choose
Yeah.
what it is.
Invariably, what happens actually, I think, in that situation is the people who approve their selling, just use it on their own mares. Well, okay, that would be a decent argument. Several years later, you find out it's just not going to be a stallion that's going to have any impact on anything.
I've
If you're only breeding-
used a stallion on AES, it's not a problem, but, you know,
Absolutely.
I just
I
asking a
own 2 or
question.
3. Yeah, it's you know, it's like that.
Yeah, so it's not a problem.
Yeah, absolutely that. Not every. It's horses. Not every. You know, one size does not fit all. It's not. It's really not possible.
You have to also accept the fact, don't you, that not everybody is in the market for professional horse.
I was waiting for that to come up this evening. Thank you for that. I was waiting for
There are
that.
people who buy
Yeah.
horses who are amateurs. Nothing
Yeah.
wrong with being an amateur.
No, nothing
But
wrong.
they should buy horses that they can ride, as
Yeah.
opposed to
Yeah.
a professional's horse that they may not be able to.
Yeah, unfortunately, the Irish stopped breeding those a few years ago, didn't they? Well, it's been one of my arguments, not arguments, but discussion pieces in Ireland. That you know, for 40 plus years, and with respect to not being very rude, you will remember for many years that the Irish Draft Cross Thoroughbred it's the best-selling horse on earth.
Yeah.
And it was absolutely the thing. Here with what I'm about to say now, Starbucks, it is a related subject, trust me. Starbucks, the original owner of, or creator of Starbucks, left the business a number of years ago, went on to other things. But then the profits started going down. It wasn't necessarily because he left. And he was invited 2 years later back into the business. And the board's like, what's going on? We're not making the profits we were. It's all gone wrong. And he went into 5 stores, 5 Starbucks, I think it was in Boston, which I think pretty much they're all next to each other because there's Starbucks everywhere. And he went into all 5 of them. The best-selling product at Starbucks was their breakfast sandwich. And you walked into Starbucks and you didn't smell coffee, you smelled the breakfast sandwich. And he took their #1 selling item off the menu. The board went, no, you can't do that. That's ridiculous. How can you do that? He said, because when people walk into Starbucks, want to smell coffee and not a breakfast sandwich. And the profits went back up again. Stick to your core subject, your core product. Unfortunately, the Irish didn't do that. They started looking, I'm afraid it's an Irish thing, I spent a lot of time in Ireland. It's an Irish thing, it's always looking somewhere else, it's always greener somewhere else. No, actually Ireland is the most green. It'd be a fine country when they put a roof on it, and a wall up in the north and east part. It's not that wind coming through. But yeah, they lost their core product, and so now they're having to breed what the Europeans are breeding. Sometimes from an Irish base, which might not always be the very best way of doing it. And if they stuck to their core product, actually, the amateurs, they were the horses that, you know, you go hunting on a Saturday and go and do a little bit of, you know, meter 20 on a Sunday and, you know, go to church on a Tuesday. If that's what
I mean, I appreciate you as a business person, and the ethos that you but there is a mass amount of those amateurs
Yep.
who need those sort of horses. So not everybody,
Which is why I'm glad you asked
not
the
everybody's
question.
looking at making
You're absolutely right.
£1 on a horse.
In the days when I used to get myself stupidly involved in silly arguments on the Horse and Hound forum, 7, 8 years ago, and of course I never knew who the hell it was I was speaking to, and people would call me all this, that and the other, and I couldn't say back. I would see this argument all the time, and I'm afraid I didn't accept it. Actually, these well-bred horses are not all professionals.
They're not, no.
They're really absolutely
You
not.
will not get the money for them.
Because some fall off the conveyor belt. That's the reality. Not everyone of these horses that Derek will breed or I will breed will make it to the top. The residue, for want of a better word, is there for the 98%. The amateur market represents 98% of the entire market. But my point is, don't try to breed an average horse, because what if you fail?
No, I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not suggesting that you are suggesting. I'm just.
That's not what I meant.
Right.
I don't mean that you should breed a lesser horse,
Mhm.
but a horse that an amateur can ride, not the stuff that you're importing from.
But it would be
France
wrong to say that
sometimes,
these
or-
horses are. It would be wrong to say that these horses are not rideable. I mean, look, there are only. Could you name, Derek, 3 stallions that were known for making historically very difficult horses? I can think of perhaps Kidam, perhaps Papillon Rouge.
I was going to say old French ones.
There you go. There you are. Maybe 2. 2 stallions which actually for many years were in the top 5 of sires ranking. But there are very few horses that are born bad. There are many that are made bad, and this was often my argument with the ladies or whatever on the Horse and Man forum, is don't necessarily blame breeding. There's an awful lot of very bad production.
And the mare line.
Yes, absolutely. But
I think the mare is more.
that would be.
Wish to insult you, but I
No, no.
think the mare is far more important sometimes.
Well, you're not entitled to me because I would agree with you. Look at the mother lines of my stallions; they're all chosen based on that. But yeah, it's. There's often been a fallacy, and I know this is not what you're saying, but I believe it's been for 10, 15, 20 years a fallacy that these hybrid horses in Europe are unrideable. And it's really not the case. It's really not the case. Many of them are very, very rideable.
Yeah.
Perhaps the quality of the riding ain't so great. But I can't breed riders. The Whitakers can. They're the best in the world at that. Was there a show last year or the year before? There were 21 Whitakers riding. Yeah, so to be honest with you, my argument would be that actually we should be continuing to breed very good stallions with very good mares. The residue is there for the leisure horse. I wouldn't want to see people trying to breed a leisure horse. Because, as I said, if you fail...
But the expectations of breeding, the majority of us probably in this room, is not to sell our foals or 4-year-olds and 5-year-olds.
Astronomical sums, yeah, sure.
That we get a genuinely good horse that will suit perhaps a lesser professional, that's not the word, but somebody who loves to ride as opposed to rides to make money.
I would suggest that people should try to breed a top horse, because, I mean, again, Derek will confirm to me, go and speak to the guys around the Global Champions Tour. They don't want to ride psychopaths Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday night. They want to be riding horses that are not going to put them in jail, in hospital. That's what they get up to in the stables. But yeah, they don't want to be riding psychopaths.
But none of us want to breed crap. That's not what we're here to do, is it?
I mean, I'll breed 5 or 6 a year, which I, to the best of the ability with the mares, you know, that have gone. They're all good mares, they're either, you know, Grand Prix mares or offspring of them. Of those 5 or 6, 2 of them I'll think, yeah, you could just get there. So there's a selection process.
Yeah.
So these other horses, just because they're well bred, doesn't mean to say that they can't fit your.
That is the
And it's a
amateur
case
market.
you have to source, and you have to not be afraid to go to professional breeders and ask them what they've got that's not going to go to what they want to do. Whereas if you go to an amateur breeder who's bred one and they tried to break it in and they've got it wrong and there's something wrong, then that's then a bad.
That's when we've got a problem. The Americans have found the perfect answer to this. They created hunters.
Yes.
You know, it ain't gonna be any good at that. It ain't gonna be good at that. So let's make it a hunter and let's make our own world championships out of it, and there you are. But no, I would always maintain it's the basis of the Stallion Company. We aim for the stars because if we get it wrong, we're gonna hit the moon. And that would always be my point. Try to breed a top horse, especially. We can never know. Of course, we can never know. But try to breed the very best you can. If it doesn't work out, okay, you've got a leisure horse. You know, it's perfectly okay for it to end up like that. I personally wouldn't want to and I would discourage anybody from trying to breed for the amateur market. Yeah. What's wrong with making horses that are so good for amateurs that it takes an amateur from 110 to 125 with comfort? That would be, then we're upping the game for everybody.
I have two full sisters, 3 years difference in the ages. The older one has been on pony club teams and absolutely brilliant, and unfortunately had a surprise foal. But her younger sister is nowhere near
There's
as
a
good
story
as
there,
her.
isn't there? There's a story there somewhere that you want to tell us. Yeah. Yeah. So carry on. Yeah.
We're the pony stallion who wasn't supposed to be fertile and
There you
jumped out of a 5-foot gate, even though he was
go.
only
It
10
doesn't
hands.
only happen in Britain, trust me.
No. So, but you know, full sisters.
It's how my mother met my father.
They were actually from the same dose of semen. We used half a dose the first time. We still had half a dose left. And the difference in the two girls is absolutely phenomenal. The oldest one will go to the top and was well on her way, which was surprised pregnant. And her younger sister is going to be a leisure horse pony, because so even when you breed to the best, doesn't mean you're going to get the best. There's always the amateur market.
Give it a pun though.
Even when you breed
I
for
wouldn't
the
want to
best.
reach the worst.
Well, no, I bred to the stallion I did for a very good reason. That the mare I did for a very, very good reason. But my point is that even when you're breeding the best, you still end up with the amateur market, because not every horse is, when you breed the best, is going to make it. Is going to be anywhere near worth it.
Is it any difference to having 2 children? No,
Twins.
Well, I just said one. So anyone who follows me on Facebook will have seen. Do you see the photo of him?
Why is he looking in the corner?
he fell asleep.
Oh, right.
Oh yeah, I put the photo up afterwards. He actually had fallen. It was extraordinary. And it was